Okay, welcome to the Finnish Loop tutorial. It's just going to hopefully be quite quick. Yeah, Finnish Loop is quite a weird element, but thankfully, because it's a gas layer, I believe the only manufacturer to have ever actually used them. Um, don't quote me on that though. Just going to have to change the track style. Not even the heartline. Heartline is 1.1 meters. Not sure what it is in feet. Sorry, I probably should know. I guess I don't even know. Just under 4 feet. That's the best you're gonna get, unfortunately. But yeah, so because it's a gas layer, I'm going to be quite intense on the valley, 4G, and I'll just go for 95 kilometers an hour here. So just under 60. It's around 56.8, I believe. Roundabout, but yeah, don't quote me on that. 56.8 miles per hour, sorry. I should have said that. So, this is just going to start off as an airtime hill. Not super strong, but also not weak. I know Junkers looks really weak. I can't speak to how it actually is in person, but it looks quite weak. Let's try maybe 0.4, 1.2, here, -1. That looks maybe a bit too steep for what I'm going for. Maybe a bit better. Let's have a look. Yeah, something around this. It's like, so I got 64 degrees here on the pitch. So not too steep that it's vertical, of course, but not shallow either. And here I'm just going to bring this to 0G. I'll say, again, maybe just over a second, like 1.3. Just bring this to the 0G. Well, when it hits 0G, just barely starting to be past 0 degrees pitch. Now I can start adding some roll. So I will go maybe right here. Yeah, let's try this. I'm going to set this to cubic because I'm gonna roll it one way and then roll it back either, which you could do with the quintic double bump. But the way that I've gone the stalled loop to kind of work in the past, you need a like a flat section of cubic roll. It's pretty much the only time I've actually been able to get a use out of a flat roll, like this sort of thing, but not as much as that. So I'm just going to make this, let's say 130. So 130 is whippy enough for it to feel whippy, but it's not like to the point where it's going to feel too forced. And I'm going to say just provisionally this is -150. So again, this is just going to bring us down very slightly past there. So the extra banking that we are going to get, or at least I feel that we're going to get, it will take a bit of that off, hopefully. So just pen this provisionally, and this vertical force section. I'll just bring up 4G -1. Tension, that is, not the center. That looked god awful here. Just gonna lengthen this. I might need to. Yeah, that's better. Still maybe a bit longer though. Now I feel like I have to adjust this. This does not look like it's rolling enough. So I'll say a tension of maybe about 0.5. No, not a tension. Sorry, a center. So let's just have a look. Yeah, it doesn't look quite as I wanted it, to be honest. Probably just gotta lengthen this out a little. Yeah, there we go. Cool. So the valley heights are not identical, but they're like, you could adjust that a bit more if you wanted. I'm just going to keep it as is. And I'll just make a stool loop just as a base. So I need to prepend this, just adding a section just before it. That's just what prepending does. I'll just bring this up to 0 for the moment. It's not going to stay there. I might actually need to not bring it up as far as that. Yeah, not much of a loop at the moment. Now that is... So essentially, what we don't want is something that looks like this, where it's, you'll see on ride, it just all of a sudden... So here it's quite consistent, really. If you look at the pitch here, so it's 70 there, 80 all the way up here, and then it just goes to 100, which is not particularly what I want. So I'm feeling like I have to decrease this length. I'll just set that to that. Just very slightly increase that. And decrease the center. There we go. That's a bit more consistent now. Max out at 90 degrees per second on pitch. And then we get into like hang time. Cool. Now, just for the exit, I'm essentially just going to repeat this exact same thing. So 2.4, just see, because I do want a section here. And 4.6G. How much tension do I actually? 0.4. Wow. Not as much as I expected. There's maybe I need to take this back a little bit. Yeah, that's a bit better. Cool. And I'll just pen this. So now again, valley height is similar, but you can already, this is taller or higher, whatever. So yeah, I might just very slightly, actually, just have a look at this. Yeah, about as much as I want on that, to be honest. So I might just adjust the tension very slightly. There we go. And yeah, this is I wouldn't say the weird part. It is weird, but it's not like, I don't even know how to describe it. I guess I just I can't seem to get it where it's at 180 all at the top consistently. The best I've been able to do is to just bring this down to about here. Then I have this as a flat section. And it goes from 175 on one side to 175 on the other. But this is essentially just all that a Finnish loop is on FED. So just bring that. Yeah, might just need to just roll. Again, that's optional. I'm at 1.5 here, which I personally feel is maybe a bit too much. There we go, 0. Not even going to be right, is it? No, of course not. But yeah, so this is just a really basic Finnish loop. Not the most accurate tool, but it gets the job done. And I think the biggest problem with it is the weird sort of wonky like stored loop. You can't particularly see it until you've watched it a couple times, unless you're already looking for it. So depends really just how much you want to mess around with it. The only other thing I can actually think of maybe working is to have like 2 sections, which one ends just before the hang time starts, and the other starts just after the hang time. But I think that would be a lot more like tricky, and I don't know how that would turn out. So you can give it a try though. This is just, like I said, quite a basic Finnish loop. This is a basic graph for it as well. Thankfully there are no lats in this one. If you wanted to tighten this up though, so bring the first valley after the airtime hill closer to the actual airtime hill, you could use lats here to just very minimally. It's like what, 7 meters ish. It's gonna be like 5 now. Yeah, it's 5. Nice. Yeah, 5 meters away from here. Obviously, you don't want to go to 0 because then the track will run into each other. And you also want to give yourself room for supports. So maybe 5 is a decent amount of space. But yeah, that's one thing you could use lats for. I guess you could maybe try using lats for the stored loop. Never tried using lats on any sort of vertical loop at all. But could give it a go. But that's pretty much it for this tutorial. I hope if you were trying to make a Finnish loop, you can now make a Finnish loop. They're not like, they don't start off being difficult at all. The start of it is an airtime hill, which I personally think, well, I know is the easiest element to make in no limits. It's not no limits, sorry, FED. And then it gets a bit more difficult. The dive isn't as bad. I'd call it a dive. I don't know what else to call it. And then the stored loop, the shape of it isn't that hard to make, but the roll is weird, as I said earlier. So yeah, thanks for watching again. I hope you have a couple more tutorials out soon. I have a bit of time now, so yeah, see you in the next one.